Yeah, they do. Shit. Well, I'll stick with my guns. I'll stick to what I've said.
Well, Salford is still the better side on form and paper at the moment, you would think, with what they're going to have available. But
that turnaround time, that's the thing. Well, don't forget, though, you need to make your Super Rugby predictions because there's 2 weeks worth of games, and make any changes if you can to your dream team lineups. And we know you're busy over Easter, seeing family and friends and enjoying the holy period. So, if you need to keep an eye on what's going on throughout the world of rugby league, our friends at SL Clubs on Twitter have got you covered. Championship game of the week, Mark. We've got a couple because there's 2 rounds of fixtures.
Yeah, I've picked out Oldham versus Swinton. I think it's a key game. If Oldham win this one, they put some real breathing space between them and the bottom 3.
Yeah.
And Swinton need a result. They've put in plenty of decent performances this year, but not taken enough results back. Yeah. And it's obviously 2 sides who are closely matched, came up at the same time last year.
Yeah.
So it'll be a
local rivalry as well.
I think more interesting than any of the games around the top of the table.
Okay, and in round 11, what have you got for us?
Probably for the last time this year, until the middle eights at least, Hull KR will be talked about in a game of the week, I think.
Yeah.
Because this away at Toulouse, after a short turnaround, is the most realistic chance of them not just steamrolling their way through every single game they play this year.
I'll say so.
Other than a complete lapse in attitude and preparation, they're not gonna go into any game closer in terms of the favourite margins and stuff like that, the betting odds, than this one, I think.
No, I agree with you.
I still think they'll probably win.
I think they'll win, but it'll be the closest. It'll be the hardest game they play all year.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I'm hoping for a Toulouse win. I think that really puts the cat among the pigeons.
The cat amongst the pigeons. Okay, 2 lots of cats face off this week as the Keighley Cougars play the Hunslet side. Mark, is your League One game of the week. I'm just completely stealing your thunder on that one because I'm so tired. How do you see this one going?
Keighley, Hunslet, could go either way, but Keighley are probably rolling into this one on a slightly better footed.
I would say so too. NRL Brit picks, what have you got for us?
Well, loads of games for you to catch this weekend. No Thursday game in the NRL, but extra games on Friday. Bulldogs versus the Rabbitohs at 7 a.m. on Friday. Should see, obviously, Burgess against Graham. Knights versus the Roosters on Friday at 9 a.m. Broncos versus the Titans Friday at 10. Bloody hell, look at what you could watch on Friday.
Hey.
You roll straight in from that one into Wigan versus Saints, then into Castleford versus Wakefield. You don't need to move off your sofa if you're so inclined. And then Raiders versus the Warriors on Saturday at 8:30 a.m. and Dragons versus the Cowboys at 10:30. See if Gareth Widdop's boys can maintain their great start to the season.
Fantastic. That is your Super League pod for the week. All that remains for us to do is to wrap up the show. Right, so we come into the wrap-up, and the first thing we're going to be doing is the SLP trivia. In the time it's taken us to play you some music, Mark has had me writing down some numbers and bits and pieces ready for what is a terrifying list by the looks of things. What have you got for us, Mark?
It's an easy one for those playing at home to jump onto the internet and get if they want to Ryan Atkins their way through it, but you're not going to do that, Tom. So what I want you to do...
No, I never would dream of it.
is name in order from top to, from longest serving at 1 to shortest serving at 12.
Right.
The length of service of all the head coaches in Super League. Bearing in mind, I'll give you the recently sacked Kieran Cunningham, who on his day of being fired or leaving or whatever they're dressing it up as, was the 8th longest serving coach in Super League. He had served at St Helens for 2 years and 172 days. So 7 coaches have been in their positions for longer than Kieran Cunningham.
Okay.
And 4 coaches have been... 5 coaches... No, 4, sorry. I'm tired too. 4 coaches have been in their position shorter period of time than Kieran Cunningham. So I don't know how you want to start it, whether you want to try and work from the bottom up or the top down.
Let's try go from the top down. Tony Smith.
Yes, he is the longest serving coach in Super League at the moment. 8 years and 36 days in charge of the Warrington Wolves.
Tony Smith. Brian McDermott.
Yes, good play here, Tom.
Okay.
6 years and 167 days in charge of the Leeds Rhinos.
Okay. Darryl Powell.
No.
Sean Wayne.
No.
Dennis Betts?
Yes.
Right. Dennis Betts. Followed by Darryl Powell. Or Sean Wayne?
Sean Wayne.
Sean Wayne. Okay. Then Darryl Powell? I'm just obsessed with getting... Really? Fucking hell. Okay, so let me get these off the list.
So Dennis Betts, 6 years and 150 days at Widnes. Sean Wayne, 5 years and 183 days at Wigan.
Right, so... Lauren Fraser-New.
Yes, 4 years, 219 days in charge of the Catalan Dragons.
Darryl Powell.
Yes.
Thank you. Right.
3 years and
that's a lot
338 days, so almost.
Okay, so we've got rid of you. We've got rid of you. We've got rid
You've done all right so far. Out of the 6, you've got 3 of them on your first guess. Mm-hmm. And all the others you guessed Darryl Powell.
I just knew that it was above Kieran Cunningham, so I knew I was going to get there eventually. Right.
So one more you're missing who's been serving at his current club longer.
Longer than Kieran Cunningham. Lee Radford.
Yes, right. 3 years, 197 days.
Okay, so the ones below Cunningham. Let's go. So bottom of the pile has got to be Ian Watson, hasn't it? He's been there the shortest amount of time.
No.
Chris Chester.
No.
Neil Dukes.
No.
I've run out of names.
You've only got one left.
No, Rick Stone. Right.
Yeah.
So Rick Stone's at the bottom. All right. So next, Ian Watson.
Nope.
Neil Dukes.
No.
Chris Chester.
You've literally done the last two. The worst you could possibly have done it.
Right, okay. 10, Neil Dukes.
Yes.
Right.
And that leaves you with...
9 leaves me with Ian Watson.
Yeah, so Ian Watson's been charged 1 year and 219 days. Neil Dukes 1 year and 68 days. Chris Chester 1 year and 25 days. And Rick Stone 273 days.
So technically... This is 12 out of 12 for me, isn't it? Because I've got all the answers.
Well, it's not, because we'll give you Ian Watson in one, even though it was by default, but you got 6 out of the 12 in one guess.
Yeah.
6 out of the 12 you got in one guess.
The rest of it
2 out of the 12 you got in 2 guesses. 2 out of the 12 you got in 3 guesses, and 1 took you 4 guesses to get to the right answer, given that you only had 4 names to go on that one.
I couldn't have done any worse than that, could I?
No.
Fair play. That was good fun.
Half marks, we'll say.
I'll take half marks. I'll take half marks every week when I go out there. Right, what's coming up for us? It's Easter mark, which can mean but one thing.
Games.
Games galore.
Me and Cass are probably going to nip down to Wigan Central for a couple of pints after Wigan Saints.
Fantastic.
Celebrating or drowning sorrows.
I'm pretty sure you'll be celebrating.
See how we go. So yeah, and then I'm off to Wakey on Monday.
Superb. Well, I won't be getting to watch or go to any live rugby league, but I'll be able to fit in a lot on television. I have airing over the Easter weekend, and I break up from work for 19 days on Thursday because there's some tactical annual leaving. So
you're off all the way through to after France.
I'm off from Thursday. Once I finish work on Thursday evening, that's me done until May the 1st, and that's,
May the 2nd then, because May the 1st is a bank holiday Monday.
Go back on the 2nd, so that's me up until Disney and coming back from that as well. So Brilliant. It's exciting time. So I'm certain I'll be able to cram in a fair bit of rugby league, particularly on Good Friday. So looking forward to it. SLP recommends this week, Mark. Have you got anything for us?
Do you know what? Newcastle, but not anything.
Just generally,
it was a nice city to visit. Emma really liked the vibe of it, and like on the Sunday there was a market along the quayside.
Right.
Yeah, the Tyne. Yeah, and the market ranged from like artisanal food products, your hot sauces, your chutneys, your cupcakes, that sort of stuff, through to just tat. So it was like it was really funny that you had like a crappy market vibe on some of the stalls, and then a real artisan or like photos and paintings and that sort of nice stuff that you'll get in like a craft market, combined with guys just selling plastic phone cases that are like fake leather, or like one guy that had a box that just said leg warmers 50p.
Look, if you're going to get cheap leg warmers, what better?
And then other stuff was really nice, but we saw there was a stall selling jams and chutneys. I think the company's called the Cherry Tree, and when we went to Durham last year, we bought some of these for my mum as a gift, and one of them we got through was like it was sweet chili and peppers or something like that, and it was really really nice. I can't remember if it was sweet peppers and chili or the other way around, but anyway, really nice. It was to go spread it on some oatcakes, put a bit of mature cheese on it, and goes really well. So we picked up another jar of that, which I guess that's it. Yeah, the sauce, the chutney, I can't quite remember the name of, by a company called Cherry Tree, who I guess are northeast based. And if you're up there and you go to a market, pick them up.
There you go. Well, I've got a beer to recommend to you, Matt, or more specifically a brewery to recommend to you. A friend of mine went to Barton Grange this week and came back with a gift for me, and it was 3 bottles of beer from the Crankshaft Brewery in Leighton. There was a ruby one, there was a darker bitter, and there was a honey ale, and they were all three of them really really nice. The honey ale, not really to my normal tastes, but it was 6.5%, so I had a good go on that. But the ruby ale was particularly very nice. If you get a chance to check out, if you come across Crankshaft Brewery, they're from Leyland. They do some lovely beers. I
have come across them before, but they don't necessarily do anything that's right in my wheelhouse.
No, there wasn't. I've not seen an IPA or anything like that. No. So it might not be to everyone's taste, but the ones I had were thoroughly enjoyable. If people want to get in touch with us, Mark, and tell us about how things have been going over Easter.
Yeah, well,
how do they do that?
Obviously the Easter show is going to be delayed, isn't it?
Yes.
Till the Tuesday night, and it might not be out until sometime on the Wednesday. We'll have to see how we get on. It's going to have 2 rounds of games to cover, so we're probably not going to squeeze in too much feedback. And actually, Alan Walker's postcode card will probably be the week after. We won't be able to squeeze in too much shout outs and feedback and news bits for next week.
It's just a bit of an opposite version of what this show has been.
Yeah, so don't worry about getting in touch too much about the stuff. But if you do want to get in touch with any burning issues you want to drop us a note about, at Super League Pod on Twitter or facebook.com/Super League Pod, superleaguepod@gmail.com. What we do really want to go good on next week, though, with so many games crossing over at the same sort of times as each other, fill us in on the games you've been at that other people might not have been at across all tiers of the game, but particularly obviously the Super League games. So get on the Google Forms. I apologise that I'd forgotten to turn on the form on Thursday before I went to the rugby. But
we can always rely on people to remind us to do it, though.
Yeah, they get in touch, and I don't know if people realise that it's most of the time just me, trying to squeeze it in between work and going to games. But I forgot. But it's already ready to go for this week, so it will be activated early for this week for the first round of fixtures at least, and then I'll try and remember over the weekend to squeeze in updating it for the second round.
Fantastic. And if you want to get in touch with us on Facebook, we are at facebook.com/Super League Pod, and at Twitter we are at Super League Pod. And if you want to send us something more long form, you can go to us at superleaguepod@gmail.com.
What were you writing down when you weren't listening to me say those things before?
Did you say all those things? Yeah. I was prepping the intro.
It's alright.
I thought you said the Google. I heard Google Forms, so I went off to do this.
No, yeah.
And then I came back and rounded it off. But now people definitely know.
Yep.
They absolutely definitely know. Right, that, for the 137th time, is your Super League Pod. We'll see you after Easter, kids. Don't eat too many chocolate eggs.